Hello, hello, hello! I am Ditto Archivist! Welcome to my second video in my show and tell series. Today is going to be about useful points of interest for visitors to my Cloud Island, and we are going to start with my museum. I'm so very happy with how this turned out. Alright, enter! And we have three main exhibits in the museum. The first one, we start by going to the left, and it is an arts gallery featuring all of the posters that you gain recipes to make in this game. I really like it. I took the inspiration from Austin John Plays again. This should be the last video where I reference inspiration from him. Started doing my own thing soon after. But yeah, any visitors can come here, enjoy the posters, and even whip out their Pokédex, switch to the reference mode, and take a picture so that they can make the poster in their own game if they don't have the recipe yet. Over here we have Smear Guru as a sort of special display. These, you make a blank canvas. You set the blank canvas down. You bring Smear Guru by, and you pray. It is random which of these three, the self-portrait, the still life, or the landscape, he will paint. Sometimes I got really lucky. I got the right ones right off the bat. Sometimes they'll paint the same one 3 times in a row. Alright, upstairs, first off. The mysterious slate mural. You can just display the slates without the backing. If you do want to move the backing somewhere of your choice, do note, it takes a demolition kit, not a relocation kit, which is what made sense to me because I wanted to move it. No, you do a demolition kit, and then the mural backing becomes its own kit, which you can then put wherever you want and rebuild, or you can put it in your inventory and forget about it. But I'm really happy with this because the wall is 1 block thick, so on this side you see the unknown, but on this side you see the completed mural. I'm really happy with that. The rest of the upstairs, since this is a museum built by a Pokemon, it is a display of all of the human relics that you can gather throughout your playthrough. So if you're missing any, and you visit here, this is where you come and take a picture, so that you can 3D print the large relics for your own island. I do have the small relics on display, though I am still searching for a few on my Cloud Island. I have them all in my main game. And the reason that I'm still missing some here, you cannot 3D print the small relics. Sad face. Does not work. If you try and take a picture of the frame, you just print the frame. And if you grab a small relic and drop it, and whip out your camera, it will not register. We've just got the carpeting that it is sitting on. So no 3D printing, the small relics. But all the large relics are here and available, so have at. Funny story. You can probably guess my favorite color. Maybe. Possibly. Guess which relic was the very last one I found? Go on, guess. And I only found it because my friend had it and let me visit their island and take my own picture. It was so very frustrating. Especially when I would appraise something and it would be an indigo meteor lamp, and then the next one would be an orange meteor lamp, and then the next one would be a green one, and it's like, can we not? One note about the meteor lamps for your item collection. So ancient artifacts, these register in 2 spots, the ancient artifacts and in the items. If you take a picture, it will register in the items. I am pretty sure it does not actually register in ancient artifacts unless you appraise it from a relic with Professor Tangrowth. I think I had some items from either traded Pokemon or from the Dream Isles, and they did not register as ancient artifacts until I appraised a relic myself, and that was what popped out. Second note, you only need one meteor lamp. It does not care about color. Alright, the final section of my museum is, of course, the fossils. This is another thank you to Austin John Plays. He had mentioned in his museum building a more organic display for the fossils, and I took some inspiration for that, and I am also extremely thankful for the tips of burying the trees to get different looks, different results. We have tiny pine trees over there, and the palm trees basically become ferns, and I really like that. Really like how it turned out. So we have the baby fossils over here, and then we have the big fossils, and they are surrounded by the shrubs from the biome in which you find that set of fossils. The ice one confused me. Why is the ice at the beach? I would have guessed mountain, but nope. The ice is found at the beach. It probably has something to do with glaciers, and how glaciers work. I am not an expert. Then we have the Aerodactyl. Here, this is a tribute to my childhood children's museum. They had their fossil displays, like most good children's museums do. And then they also had a little area where you'd go into a little pit, you would grab your little tools, and you would dig stuff up as if you were an archaeologist. And it was really fun. We did that pretty much every time we went to the museum, and I wanted to build a tribute to it. Over here, so we have just come from the fossil display, and this is our viewing window, where you can view the live baby fossils in their new habitat. After the museum, we come this way. And then we turn to the right. And this building is my pattern shop. So you have those patterns that you find and you take to Smear Guru, and they can learn them and then they can paint them. And the glossy awnings, when they are painted, look a little bit like fabric samples, and so that was the inspiration for this shop. The front room is all of the #1 patterns. And then we turn... Oh, wait. If you want a better look at that third row, that's why I built this platform up here. We come to the back, and we go past the Pokeball mat, and we find the Pokemon patterns in dex order to help you find them. That's the Ditto pattern. Well, the in-game Ditto pattern. The event Ditto pattern, unfortunately, I think is not learnable by Smear Guru at this point in time. You either make the block or you make the wallpaper, and they do not learn it. Maybe later. The back wall is just the color palette, in vague rainbow order, so that you can compare and contrast the various colors. Alright. And then this, I built what I call a walking path around my city that has all of the habitats. They are listed, they start at 12 o'clock in the north, and it goes counterclockwise. They're listed by biome in habitat order. So this in the northwest is the wasteland habitats. You get to the southwest, and we're in the beach habitats. You get to the northwest. So we flip the skylands and the mountains, because my northwest is my mountains, not west. Good gosh darn it. Northeast is my mountains, and that's where those habitats are. Southeast is my skyland biome, so that is where those habitats are. And after the skyland, you have a bunch of stuff that is just sort of sitting here, and it looks more like it would be in different habitats, different biomes. And yeah, no, they're here at the end. So I did tag these onto the wasteland section of my habitat walk. We got the knights, we got the rock stars, the Eevees, the fishing. Hello! And so if you are missing anything from a habitat, you can come here and take pictures as needed. Alright, we're gonna go down Gold Road and hit my park. I am so very happy with how this turned out. Ooh! Honey sparkles. Okay. Now, the park is where I started because Hoppip had a picnic theme. I started just displaying the events in my park. So over here is Hoppip, including the flower garland. And if you are missing anything from this event and you don't want to mess with time shenanigans, this is your spot. And then over here is the Sableye event. Do note, the tent, you cannot 3D print it. I tried. Could not take a picture of the built tent, you can't take pictures of the kit, so that is a main game thing only. But all of the other stuff, including the jewel decoration, is here. Including the crystal that I picked up. That's not technically an item that you get from Sableye, that's what you break to get the crystals you pay Sableye with. But it's very pretty, so I added it. And then over here, our most recent events. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh! Ha! Okay! Jirachi is here! Excellent! Was not expecting that. Huh. How is this even a habitat? Because the habitat is the bed, the table, the lamp, and the closet. And the closet is not close enough, I wouldn't have thought, to make a habitat. Oh well. It worked! I now have Jirachi! Excellent! The event is still ongoing even. So, while in the main game, I don't think you can get Jirachi until they've left the Pokemon Center. In your Cloud Island, if you take pictures and bring the stuff, you can get Jirachi. You will, of course, be able to get Jirachi in the main game too, but this is early. Fun, fun! Yeah, so I had seen people making 5x5 little habitat houses for Pokemon, and that seemed like something fun to do. And so that is what I did for Jirachi. And I buried a house underneath because I was going to put Jirachi there, but if Jirachi is fine with this habitat, all the more power to it. Ah! Excited. Okay. Last bit of the point of interest tour. I'm also pretty darn happy with this playground I made. Alright, so we have plants. So you get the Leppa berry and you get one other berry in your game. And then you need to find the others. And so here we have all of the berry trees. In vague rainbow order. Pink, red, yellow, blue... no wait. Green. Blue, blue. And you could technically get the pictures from my tree greenhouse over there. But this is much more space, much less fighting the camera. And then we come this way. And our very last stop on this point of interest tour, full circle back to the front of the museum, is my flower garden. The base is the Chansey Garden, with different aesthetics, replaced a bunch of stuff. Can you guess my favorite color yet? But around it are all of the flowers in the game with all of their color variations, as well as the shrubs. So we have the mountains, the wastelands, the cute, the robust, the beautiful, the elegant, the seashore, and the skylands. Excellent. Well, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope people find it useful. I hope I remember to put the Cloud Island address in this video so people can actually visit. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again. Bye!